Amidst the dense forests and rivers of the American Southeast, a towering Native American leader stood ready to confront the Spanish conquistadors. His name was Tuscaloosa, the chief of the Muskogee Creek people. But what made his presence even more unforgettable was not just his leadership, it was his exceptional physical size. To understand the legend of Tuscaloosa's 7-foot size, we need to look at the accounts left by those who encountered him. Spanish explorers who were struck by his physical stature and his commanding presence. One of the earliest and most famous descriptions comes from Garcilaso de la Vega, a chronicler who accompanied the Spanish on their journey with Hernando de Soto. In his writings, de la Vega describes Tuscaloosa as a tall and powerful man, but he doesn't give an exact height. However, other accounts from the expedition mention that the chief was so imposing, some soldiers even thought he could have been a giant. Spanish accounts of the time paint Tuscaloosa as being a man of exceptional stature, with some reports suggesting he was easily over 6 feet tall and possibly closer to 7 feet, a height that would have been striking for the time. The average height of a Spanish soldier in the 16th century was around 5'6" to 5'8", so encountering someone who was perhaps 6'6" or even 7 feet would have been astonishing to them. For Europeans, such extraordinary figures in the New World often became mythologized as giants, both because of their size and the fearsome nature of their leadership. Add to this the fact that Tuscaloosa wasn't just physically impressive, he was also a powerful military leader. His warriors were highly skilled, and during the Battle of Mabila in 1540, Tuscaloosa led his people against the Spanish with fierce resistance, further cementing his image as a larger-than-life figure. In the heat of battle, it's easy to see how such a commanding figure would have stood out, not only due to his size but his aura of strength and leadership. To the Spanish, he was a giant in every sense, from his stature to his indomitable will. Interestingly, stories of giants were not confined to just Tuscaloosa. Throughout the Americas, particularly in the Mississippian culture where Tuscaloosa came from, rumors of giant skeletons being found in burial mounds circulated widely. While many of these reports are considered myths or misinterpretations, they likely contributed to the larger-than-life image of leaders like Tuscaloosa. Some believed that giant skeletons, often claimed to be over 7 feet tall, were evidence of a lost race of giants who had once inhabited the land. These claims, combined with Tuscaloosa's reported stature, helped fuel the legendary narrative of him being a literal giant. The giant chief fact versus legend. While there's no concrete evidence that Tuscaloosa was over 7 feet tall, the accounts of his size and the awe he inspired were not uncommon for indigenous leaders in the eyes of European explorers. The Spanish, who often exaggerated physical features of native leaders, likely contributed to the myth of Tuscaloosa being a giant. However, it's entirely possible that he was taller than the average Spanish soldier, potentially standing around 6'4" to 6'6", which would have been highly unusual for that time. Whether or not he was truly a giant, Tuscaloosa's legacy as a leader of towering physical and moral strength is undeniable. He stood as a symbol of resistance against European colonization, a larger-than-life figure who fought fiercely to defend his people. The story of Tuscaloosa, the giant chief, may be wrapped in myth and legend, but his remarkable presence, whether 6 feet tall or 7, remains a testament to the strength and resilience of the native peoples who stood against the tide of European conquest. Thank you for joining us in exploring this fascinating chapter in history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Tuscaloosa and the myths of giants, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories where history and legend collide.